didn't occur by some meteorological accident that occurred in the atmosphere. As a matter of fact, the psalmist says in Psalm 19 and beginning at verse number 1, it shows us that what we look at through that telescope, it shows us that this is nothing but the handiwork of God. When we look at our sky, and when we look at the firmament and everything that God did, you can only come to the conclusion that there is a God in heaven. In Psalms 19, beginning at verse number 1, the Bible said that the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. When I put my telescope to my eye and start studying those things that are beyond my common eyesight, I see that there is no God like my God, because God is our designer of the universe. Not only is God the designer of the universe, but God is the designer of mankind. Notice in our text, David says, I'll praise thee, because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm not some higher derivative of no monkey. God went into the dirt on me himself and fashioned me according to his likeness and according to his specificity. I like that word. You know, find it in Webster, but it sure fits my sermon. He designed me according to his own specificity, which simply means that God created me exactly how he wanted me to be. And yet some man comes along and doesn't want to give the creator his dues and said, we started off crawling on our knuckles and then learned how to walk upright. Our thought pattern evolved over so many thousands and hundreds of millions of years. That ain't right. The Bible teaches me that after God finished everything else in creation, he sat back on day 6 and said, let us make man in our own image. No wonder David said, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I look like my creator. I'm fashioned according to the pattern of my creator. Take for instance, my brothers and sisters, that the DNA structure. Are y'all with me? Multiply trillions of cells. And in each nucleus of the cell, there are hundreds and thousands of genes. In each gene there is a chemical called deoxyribonucleic acid. That's called DNA. Amen. And if you could put the DNA into English vocabulary, they say it would be a 1,000-volume encyclopedia of your genetic makeup. They say our bodies are composed with complex systems that work harmoniously to preserve life in what we call this old earthly tabernacle of our existence. And for instance, I've got me a skin system that covers my muscles and my underlying tissues. It also acts as a sensory organ that helps me regulate my body temperature. That's the reason when I get too hot, I start sweating. When I get too cold, I start shivering, because my skin is a system. But God didn't stop with my skin system. He also gave me a muscular system that accounts for all the motions in my body, and it acts as a protective cushion for all of my bones. But God didn't stop with my muscular system. Inside the muscular system, he placed a skeletal system that serves as my framework, in that it gives me my size and my shape. It also protects my internal organs, those organs that have to have something around them, so that when you bump into me, you don't throw me into cardiac arrest. God put them inside of a cage I call my rib cage that keeps me safe from those kind of accidents. But then he put in me a circulatory system that carries blood to every part of my body and gives me the nutrients I need when I need a pick-me-up. All I got to do is stand up and jog and my circulatory system will start working and carrying oxygen to my brain so that I can start thinking clearly than I was when I was being lazy. He gave me a digestive system which chemically breaks down my food so my body could use the nutrients thereof as energy. He didn't stop with my digestive system, but he placed in me a respiratory system which allows me to inhale and exhale, and it sends oxygen through my lungs so I can preach his word in season and out of season, so I can reprove, rebuke, and exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. Then he gave me an excretory system which gathers up all the waste in my body, puts it in my biological trash can, and sends it out when the garbage man comes by. Yes, God has made me to such a degree that when I look at myself, I get happy looking at myself. I start to think about the fact that God started with nothing and then brought from nothing something that has become something else. I look at the fact that yes, God may have extended the 9-month cycle of pregnancy, but if I didn't know any better, I'd have thought God meant to do it that way, because when you look at the 9-month cycle of pregnancy, it don't look like no accident to me that in the first month I'm placed as a cell in my mother's womb, which divides, becomes 2, then 4, then 8, then 16, and on into the hundreds. That's just in the first month. In the second month, I take the form of an embryonic disc and began to fold myself and take the shape of cells in a tubular structure of my embryonic body, and it begins to form to the degree that you could now see my arms, my legs, and my elbows, my knees, and my hands start to develop. That's just in the second month. But by the time you get to the trimester, which is the third month, my neck starts to grow and to straighten out. My eyelids have began to form over my eyes. My fingernails and toenails have at that time come to the surface. By the time you get to the fourth month, my nerve cells in my brain have finished dividing and has formed melanin, in which it allows the signals from my brain to travel faster through the rest of my body. In the fifth month, my body has now caught up with the size of my head, and I move from the embryonic stage into the fetus stage. In the sixth month, my lungs have begun the process of taking in air, and my central nervous system has started to mature at the end of the second trimester. In the seventh month, my body can now regulate its own temperature, and nerve activity in my brain has started to work. In the eighth month, my development is complete, and my body has begun to position itself upside down, because I know that my exit time is arriving. God just put it in me to know when I get too big for my personal space, it's time for me to start positioning myself to try to come out of the place that he's put me in, and I start pushing on mama's pelvis to the degree that it sends signals to her brain, which causes other nerve endings to come and send an indication to her womb to contract, and that's when she runs to the hospital. And 9 months later, in December 17th, 1969, David Tillman Jr. was born, not because he arrived from no money, but because God put him in there, and God brought him out of there. I am fearfully and I'm wonderfully made. And nothing you see on me no accident.